Welcome all! Today I have an earth healing technique for you that I never really thought to share. It sort of downloaded into my consciousness as I was meditating years ago, and it totally made sense to me since it really vibed with my cultural, historical sensibilities, but it was so eccentrically me that teaching it to others didn't really occur to me at the time. But while meditating quite a bit later, my guides told me to share it in a video, and quite a bit later still, here I am, making that video. It's an earth healing technique that involves an etheric punch bowl. Yes, a punch bowl, as in a vessel for punch. The merry, often fruity, often boozy, shareable party drink that everyone in attendance can dip into. Except we'll be working in the form of vibrations, not actual libations, to make our punch. Things are still meant to get a little buck wild, though, you'll see. And I even wore my fruit punch-colored sweater for the occasion. Earth healing has no strict definition to me. There are many sorts of energy work that people do to assist our planet and its consciousness. Because Earth is a consciousness in her own right, one we all form part of. Some indigenous wisdom talks of her as being a rainbow consciousness, one with a little bit of everything, with all of her biodiversity, which is very different from the consciousness of an ice giant planet like Neptune, where scientists say it possibly rains diamonds. Earth healing is generally done to dissipate lower vibrations, clear ley lines, clear timelines, activate sacred sites, create higher vibrational temples of light over locations, to free trapped souls, and to protect the Earth from any on- or off-planet agendas that aren't aligned with source consciousness, to assist the elemental realms, and to generally funnel the highest available source light into the planet and its energetic grids for the conscious evolution of the planet and all of her species. It's often done in groups, in ceremony, but is just as effective practiced alone, in your backyard or in a parking lot, anywhere you feel could use a bit of a healing boost. It's nice to do it in places that are particularly special to you, and it's nice to know that you can connect with and affect the entirety of the Earth from wherever you are and wherever you go. When this punchy modality came to me, I was living over a very busy intersection of Chicago's South Loop, on the upper floors of a 19th century building with a cell tower I didn't know about at the time slapped on top of it. I was done living in such a frenetic place, and preparing to leave the city altogether. I think I wanted to do something for the city itself, as a thanks for having me, and to contribute in a way I could to its energetic health. And I also think I just wanted to wash away as much low vibratory ick as possible in one go. Cities are sacred, but man, they can be density traps. So, that afternoon, I started meditating, and then a giant clear glass punch bowl appeared in my mind's eye. And the following method of healing played out. Some quick notes on punch before I get there, though. I have to defer to a punch expert, drinks historian David Wondrich, who wrote a whole book on the subject, titled Punch. A tipple of the early modern era, punch describes a drink that's been popular since the 1600s. A drink that became very popular very quickly, considering the super long sea voyages between Southeast Asia and Europe of the day. According to Wondrich, the word punch may have come from the Hindi word for 5, panch, because early concoctions likely contained 5 ingredients: water, citrus, sugar, spices, and spirits. The first accounts come from Europeans stationed in India. One German factory manager noticed Indian workers mixing up a similar drink with rosewater. But really, punch has frequently had any number of ingredients, so this explanation is a bit shaky. Punch could also refer to the type of barrel the drink was kept in, a short, stout form still called a puncheon today. Either way, the first true punches were made for the consumption of British sailors in India, and as Wondrich says, many of them were illiterate, so the name didn't really matter much. But he insists there's no real evidence that anything like it was drunk in India before Europeans arrived on the scene, who likely used it to temper the strength of colonial-era rum, or to make wine replacements by sweetening up and watering down strong spirits. Bonus! The citrus juice squeezed into it helped them fend off scurvy. And punch does share similarities with wassail, an age-old mulled beverage from England with pagan roots, usually made of spiced cider or ale, that was traditionally consumed in the winter during Twelfth Night celebrations, or the solstice, depending. People might share a bowl of wassail while caroling door to door, or would wassail their orchards, toasting their fruit trees so they'd bear a large harvest in the coming year. Some might spear wassail-soaked cakes onto the branches, or splash wassail directly onto the trees. And sometimes I've read they'd even berate the trees that didn't perform so well. Wassail was also a toast, to which one would customarily reply, "Drink health." Anyway, punch naturally became an emblematic drink of the British East India Company, and eventually, society events. And Christmas parties, middle school dances, and frat house ragers. Personally, I'm all about that super classy punch made of orange sherbet, except I grew up calling it orange sherbet. Let's get into it. You'll see this healing starts calmly, but does sort of end like some drunken Regency-era ball, and is pretty quick overall. So, settle into a meditative state, breathing, sending your grounding roots down into the earth, and tuning into the area in which you find yourself. Ask to connect with love and gratitude into the very consciousness of the earth and the land you're on. Connecting to and sending acknowledgement to its guardians, its elemental spirits, its plant and wildlife, to the ancestors who live there in their now time, and to the generations of future timelines. Now, see, sense, imagine a massive, and I mean massive, shape taking form in the sky above you. As it solidifies and expands, you notice it's made of cool, shining, transparent glass, stretching out swiftly and silently in all directions, as far as you can see, and taking on a thin, curved, concave shape. Before your eyes, it forms fully into a giant glass punch bowl. Perhaps it's plain and totally smooth, or cut into a more ornate shape, or etched with a decorative pattern. Maybe your punch bowl has a matching clear glass ladle in it. Maybe not. See what appears in your own mind's eye, or create one you really resonate with. And using your will and powers of visualization, begin to fill your punch bowl with the highest vibratory sorts of frequencies that this place you're in can comfortably handle or be attuned to. Pour them in like thin, flowing streams of brightly colored, translucent liquids. Pour in love, joy, bliss, harmony, balance, equilibrium, peace, acceptance, ease, health, healing, equality, unity, abundance, wisdom, enlightenment, courage, soul sovereignty, compassion, empathy, optimism, enthusiasm, freshness, innocence, purity, justice, all the good stuff. Add in anything I didn't mention or your own frequencies of choice. Mixing them all together in your own vibrant, high vibrational, energetic punch. Revel in the juiciness of it all. The juiciness of life that you can create and concoct all by yourself. Keep filling and filling your punch bowl to the brim, pouring in the finest vibrations you can, until it seems as if adding even one drop more would make it start to spill out over the sides. Then, just like at a boisterous gathering, imagine it doing just that, spilling out in a massive splash, as if the whole bowl got knocked over by a particularly tipsy or uncoordinated party guest. Though, instead of being a nightmare to clean up, this high vibratory energetic punch washes out nightmarish energies and energetic debris from the area you're focusing on. It washes out any discord, strife, pain, anger, hatred, suffering, neglect, grief, abuse, regret, victimhood, lack, stagnation, selfishness, or separation. Your colorful punch washes over all the living beings and structures in the area, soaking over and saturating people, animals, plants, insects, the layers of the earth itself, covering every square foot of every building, every object, flushing through all the empty spaces, gushing into the elemental realms. It's like a sweet, fruity flood of biblical proportions, not destroying, but rejuvenating, pumping life and exquisite qualities of source consciousness into everything it touches, drenching all in divine perfection, quenching any kind of physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual thirst on all levels of existence. Eventually, the rush comes to stillness, and a calm takes over. The water level, so to speak, starts to recede. The punch dries out, quickly, leaving no residue, having permeated everything in its wake totally. The punch bowl simply fades into the sky, from translucence into nothingness, as if getting put back on some astral shelf, where it'll wait to be pulled out for the next earth-healing occasion. And that's it! And I'm really thirsty now. Maybe grab something to drink after this. Keep in mind you can do this distantly as well. You can even do this in the past or the future. Follow all the same steps, just take some seconds to consciously connect into any time in any locale of your choice, across the globe, or hey, even off of this world. It'll be just as effective due to the quantum nature of all that is one. Thanks as always for joining me. I'm Emily, an art historian and an energy worker, and I'd be very keen to know where you've doused with your energetic healing punch. Cheers.